Son or Cole Palmer, and should we triple captain Erling Haaland? Those are the final decisions for my Game Week 9 team selection. And of course, with the deadline being this evening, we haven't got much time left. So as always, if you look forward to today's video, make sure you do drop a like and of course, smash that subscribe button. And enough waffling, let's get into today's video. So first up, just a quick recap on how my team is currently looking before those important moves. And if you tuned into my transfer plans video, you will know that earlier on in the week, I sold Bukayo Saka to Brian Mbeumo. I just felt with those upcoming Brentford fixtures, he was too hard to ignore. And with the prices going up for Mbeumo and down for Saka, I just had to get it done early on because as you notice, my team value is terrible. So I can't afford any of these price changes for players I absolutely do want. And it's given me 2.5 million in the bank and 2 remaining transfers going into game week 9. And of course, we need to caveat this by saying I still have the wild card available. The current plan is to use it in game week 12 for those fixture swings, but I can't lie, I'm also very flexible with it. I could bring it forward if I need to, or I could push it back into later game weeks, depending on basically how the chips fall. So that is the current plan right now. In terms of the rest of the team, yes, Henderson at home against Spurs is pretty damn woeful, but I just don't really see any point using a free transfer for a goalkeeper. In terms of the defenders, we have cash cows in the defence with Trent and Robertson. Now, I rate the Liverpool defence massively. Do I think they'll keep a clean sheet away against Arsenal, even with the problems that Arsenal have? Probably not. But do I also think Robinson is going to keep a clean sheet away against Everton? Probably not either. So Robertson versus Robinson is definitely a debate if I do keep Robertson in my team. In terms of the midfielders, Jota is the obvious player that needs to go. As you can tell on my bench, I do not have any sort of depth in this team. So Jota has to go with those potential injury concerns. And even if he was available, I just wouldn't trust his minutes going forward. So Jota out to a premium is absolutely the priority for this team. And whether that be Palmer, Foden, or of course Son, I'm going to discuss now because that is really imperative to the direction that I take this team. And of course, in terms of the front two, Watkins remains a great pick at home against Bournemouth. Yes, he is expensive and I could downgrade him, but while I've got cash cows in the defence, I'd much rather take the money out of those than that of Watkins with this brilliant home fixture against Bournemouth. And of course, Erling Haaland at home against Southampton. No way he is leaving this team, even though 40,000 managers have sold him ahead of this fixture. The big debate is going to be whether I triple captain him, which of course I will touch on at the end of this video. So as you saw in my current team, the midfielders are very much mid-price or budget enablers, and there is no way that I can go into game week 9 with just those type of midfielders. We need to keep that spot available as a premium midfielder. So one of these three need to come into my team. Mo Salah absolutely was a debate for my team as well, but I just think these offer better value as of right now. Salah is brilliant from game week 10 onwards, but of course, with my wildcard available in game week 12, or I can use it earlier, if we do get to a point where I think I need Mo Salah in my team, then I could absolutely accommodate him. And it's worth noting there may be a plan in place to sell Erling Haaland earlier on that could accommodate a Mo Salah move. So of course, we need to have that in the back of our minds. But we're focusing on this game week. And these three are top of the agenda. Now, I touched on this in my transfer plans video, so I'm going to quickly cover off it. In terms of Phil Foden, I absolutely think that he is the best option in game week 9 in isolation. I think he will start. There are a few rumours about him starting, not starting. I think he does get significant minutes in this game. And if he plays 70 minutes at home against Southampton, I think he absolutely outscores both Palmer and Son in their respective games, where I expect both of those to play 90. The problem is, of course, I need Foden for game weeks 10 and 11. And can I honestly sit here and say to you that he is going to get those minutes? And I think the answer is no. So I have looked at things like a hokey cokey where we go Foden for game week 10 and then we jump onto a Cole Palmer in game week 11, for example, onwards. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense for my team. So even though I love the idea of Phil Foden and I would love to bring him into my team, I just can't really accommodate him for game weeks 10 and 11 with that potential rotation risk and Kevin De Bruyne most likely back then. So it does come down to whether I go for Son or Cole Palmer. Now, of course, we need to obviously add the caveats. If I want to go Cole Palmer, I need to use both of my free transfers to get there. So that might most likely mean downgrading Robertson to a 4.5 million defender like a Brentford defender or someone like Ait Nouri. and then upgrading Diogo Jota to Cole Palmer. The problem is, I know a lot of managers are doing this who don't have a wildcard available because they're planning long term. And I absolutely think that's still a strategy for me because Newcastle at home is great. Man United away, I think, is a good fixture. Arsenal at home, when they have their players back, is going to be a very tough game. I wouldn't expect anything from him then. But as we mentioned, regardless, he is coming into my team for game week 12. And by then, that price could be 11 million, 11.1 if he does have a good performance over the next few weeks. So am I being a little bit kind of blindsided by my wildcard and thinking that I have to ignore Cole Palmer because I need to be a little bit more different? So obviously the player that we're looking to be different with is going to be Son. And there's no denying the fixtures are better. Crystal Palace away, I actually don't think Spurs are going to steamroll him. I think this will be a closer game than we expect. Then Aston Villa at home. I think we all expect Villa to play this high line, but Villa are still a very, very good team. And then the big fixture, Ipswich at home in game week 11 when Palmer plays Arsenal. That is the real significant fixture. And if Son delivers and outscores Palmer in game week 9, then I feel like he will absolutely outscore him over the 3 because that Ipswich game is so massively better than anything Chelsea have. Son could do some real damage there. And it's also worth noting that is a fantastic captaincy option if I do end up selling Haaland later down the line or I just don't fancy the Haaland move. So I think both have their pros and cons. I think just because I have the wild card available, I feel like going for Son at his price point and meaning that I don't have to use my other free transfer just makes enough sense for my team. So right now I am currently leaning towards Son, but of course both offer fantastic value. So here's my game week 9 team selection, and as you can see, no transfer made with the goalkeeper and defenders. Henderson, it is what it is. I'm fully expecting them to concede. Could he rack up some saves? Potentially. I am hoping for that as the best case scenario. And in terms of the defenders, I'm currently leaning towards Trent, Lewis and Robinson. However, when I look at the odds for Liverpool clean sheet, Liverpool goals, etc., I do think Liverpool actually could get a clean sheet against Arsenal with Saka a potential doubt, Odegaard still out, this Arsenal team struggling with injuries and defence. We could see Liverpool maybe actually win this game away against Arsenal. So I need to weigh up whether actually just playing Robertson is the way to go. I don't love doubling up on Liverpool defence at all, but they are the best defence in the league. And Robinson away against Everton, I don't think is a banker of a clean sheet either. So if I have the assumption that both of these are going to concede, I probably do fancy the upside maybe a little bit more on Robinson. So that is why he is currently in the team. But of course, closer to the deadline, if I do make any changes, I will let you know in that deadline live stream, which will be a couple of hours before that deadline, which is tonight. So moving into the midfielders, of course, we already knew I made the Mbeumo move, but I am planning on bringing on Son. Now, I didn't make the move Thursday evening, so I'm going to wait until the press conferences today just to see if they do throw up any surprises for any other players that I do own. But if I don't hear anything, I am 80% sure I am going to do, obviously, Jota to Son. And the big thing about it is it means that I'm left with 0 in the bank, but I get to keep that additional free transfer for moves later down the line, which I do think is going to improve my team between now and that important wildcard. The rest of the midfielders, little bit ropey. Rodgers at home against Bournemouth, I think is absolutely fine. He's been very, very consistent for my team at times, and his underlying numbers still remain okay. But at his price point right now and a good fixture, I absolutely have to play him. Now, Eze is in the team. Now, I absolutely could sell Eze because at home against Spurs, I just don't know what to expect from him, and I could easily sideways him to another Spurs player if I want to, Brennan Johnson, but I don't really feel that good about that move. And even though Eze has been pretty poor, disaster in terms of FPL returns, I still feel fine holding him this game week and then maybe using him as a cash cow in the following game week. So I'm going to keep Eze for one more game week, but it's been a disaster, let's be real. And Smith Rowe away against Everton is not good at all. I really am a little bit concerned almost about minutes there. And if I have any doubt about him, then I probably will just bring in Robertson and play a 4-4-2 in this situation. But as you can see, I'm not loving the team this week, but I really do need a green arrow with a 1.6 million overall rank. But Son coming in, I think makes a lot of sense for this team. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, of course. Now, moving into the forwards, and no surprises, we're not making any transfers here. Watkins at home against Bournemouth could potentially be his last game in my team, but I still really like the fixture. And he isn't a differential, but I know a lot of engaged managers don't have Ollie Watkins. So I am very excited to have him for this Bournemouth game, and hopefully he can continue his consistency of returns. And Erling Haaland at home against Southampton once again. Absolutely no problems there. And as I spoke about, now it all comes down to what to do with the captaincy. Of course, it's going on Erling Haaland, but do we activate the triple captain? So we have to touch on that right now. So do we triple captain Haaland in game week 9? I've just put some thoughts here. It's basically my brain just dumped on the page. So it's a little bit chaotic. So just want to quickly run through the mess that you can see here. So first up, I think if you want to triple captain Erling Haaland, in terms of a single game week, I think categorically this is the best game left of the season. They've had some other big games like Ipswich at home. Southampton at home is the best remaining game week in terms of a single game week, 100%. Yes, he might get bigger returns in other games, but in terms of an actual fixture, this is the best and final one. So basically, if you don't do it now and you wait until later on the season, I think you're then taking a big punt on Erling Haaland for just a single game week. So you need to remember that. Now, of course, outside of Erling Haaland, we need to talk about the other players that we would confidently put the triple captain on for a single game week. And I think there are only two. I think Mo Salah is one of those that I feel confident about, and Cole Palmer. Some people would put Son into the mix, but again, I just feel like these two are in a league of their own in terms of how they can get double-digit returns so easily in any fixture. So the three that I think are really obvious for Salah is going to be game week 18 against Leicester at home, but that is on Boxing Day in the middle of that crazy Christmas period. So I just don't think anybody would feel confident putting the triple captaincy on Salah, where he plays the Saturday before and the Saturday after. So I just think that one, even though it looks great, is a recipe for disaster. So then we got game week 23, Ipswich at home, again, a fantastic game. And obviously with triple captain, we'd rather put it on a midfielder because they get an additional point for clean sheets and for goals. So we do need to remember that. So that is a great fixture. And game week 28 against Southampton at home. So I would say 23 and 28 are brilliant for Mo Salah. When we take a look at Cole Palmer, he equally has basically the same teams. I've picked the promoted teams because I think they are the ones to target. Game week 27 against Southampton at home and game week 28 against Leicester at home. Brilliant triple captaincy opportunities. And then in game week 32 against Ipswich at home. Now, while this all sounds great, the big thing that we need to remember is right now you own Erling Haaland. Do you know that you're going to own these players over this period? And I think the answer is going to be no, especially for someone like Mo Salah. I think because of Mo Salah's price point, we've probably found it hard to own him so far this season. So can I sit here right now and say to you that in game week 23, I am 100% going to have Mo Salah? I think the answer is no. I think the one thing I want to note is that because of Cole Palmer's fixtures and game week 27 and game week 28 being so fantastic, if there are no injuries, then I can't see a world where I don't have Cole Palmer in my team for Southampton at home and Leicester at home, back-to-back fixtures. So I think we can sit here and confidently say he will be in our teams. So I do feel like Palmer as a triple captain is absolutely a consideration for us later down the line. So that is definitely one argument. But the thing we need to remember is that, do we have guaranteed minutes of those players over that period? No, because we don't know what injuries are going to arise. We don't know how European competitions are going to affect the minutes of both of these players. So we need to remember that. We can't predict the future. Are both of these players even going to be available over that period? Now, the final thing is double game weeks. Now, if you're sat there right now thinking there are going to be 4, 5, 6 double game weeks this year, unless we have some sort of natural disaster or a monarch dies, it's not going to happen. This year, most likely, we'll get 2 double game weeks, which is the least we have seen for years. We have not been blessed with COVID, but that carnage has led to carnage in FPL with the doubles and single game weeks. That isn't going to be happening this year at all. So we're going to see much less than previous seasons, and we're going to have no guarantee of good fixtures and teams and players that we actually want being in those doubles. So we are obviously rolling the dice with the double game weeks, and the problem with these doubles is that you also want to use other chips in them. Bench boost historically has been a great time to use it. And of course, we have this mystery chip that we have no idea what it does. Maybe it's something where we could pick unlimited budget for 1 week and it's kind of like a free hit, then that could be crazy and we want to use that also in a double game week. So straight away we are reverting to a triple captain on a single game week once again. So it all reverts back to the case of, do we just get the triple captain out the way while we know Erling Haaland is fit and available? The Man City team isn't ticking great, but still expected to score 3 or more goals in this fixture. So you need to decide for yourself. Right now, I think triple captain Haaland is a fantastic pick. The only reason why I'm hesitant is because Palmer, game week 27 and game week 28, could be, in my eyes, maybe just a slightly better time to do so. So coming into my captaincy, as you can see, I currently have the standard captaincy on Erling Haaland. But honestly, as of right now, I am 51% captain Haaland, 49% triple captain Haaland. It is that close. And the closer we get to the deadline, and of course do my deadline live stream, I might be tempted to activate it. So I'm not really going to sit here and say what I'm definitely going to do, but hopefully that previous section will help you in terms of deciding what exactly you want to do. So I'm not 100% certain, but hopefully you have more certainty and let me know in the comment section. Yes, guys, okay, that is going to wrap up today's Game Week 9 team selection video. Obviously, a quick turnaround before this Game Week 9 deadline, which is going to be Friday, which is today, 6:30 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be doing a deadline live about 2 hours beforehand, so make sure if you're not already, you are subscribed and you get that notification bell switched on so you know when I am live to answer all of your final questions and, of course, reveal my final team selection. Hope you guys have a great day. I will see you very soon. Cheers.